Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about how Adam Peters completely overhauled the Washington Commanders roster this offseason. We're going to be going over some stats about the roster, how many new guys we have. We'll go over some of all the free agents they signed, the draft class, and a lot more. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Alright, so let's get right into it. We're just going to be going over their offseason and how much Adam Peters has really overhauled this roster. The biggest overhaul in the league this offseason so far, and it's probably going to be even more once we get to the start of these, once we get to the roster cuts. Did make a video yesterday talking about Darrell Green and how he's going to be, he's trying to train some of the Washington Commanders young DBs like Mike Sainristil, and also, maybe Emmanuel Forbes. And everyone in the comments is like, oh, you should watch Darrell Green highlights. Trust me, I might not know everything about him, but I've definitely watched highlights on him before. I know he's an absolute stud, one of the best cornerbacks of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer, everything like that. He was an absolute beast. I mean, I think at least he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. If not, he should have. But we know how a lot of the, Redskins legends that should have been in the Hall of Fame aren't, like Joe Jacoby, and then even like London Fletcher, he should be in. I'm going off on a tangent. Let's get right into it. So the Commanders, they have 57% of their team from last year returning, which is the lowest in the NFL. But here's the thing. They're probably going to even have less than that once the 53 gets finalized, because they did bring in a relatively large draft class. I think 9 guys plus some undrafted free agents. Of course, all those guys are going to make the roster. And then you have, or maybe not all of the rookies, but if one doesn't, it'll be like one. Or if someone doesn't make it, it'll be like one rookie that doesn't make it, but probably everyone's going to make it, and then maybe an undrafted free agent or 2. So that's 10 players right there that are going to make it, and they signed so many free agents that probably 20 plus are going to make it from the free agents they signed. So that alone is 30 out of 53, which is about 60% of the players that are new, not even returning. So right now it's 43% of the 90-man roster is returning, 43% of the roster, the current roster, which is 90-man roster, is new. But again, I think that's going to, increase once we get to the actual season. So we'll go over some of the free agent signings and guys I think are going to make the roster. You got Nick Allegretti, Dorrance Armstrong, Tyler Biadasz. Obviously, those 3 are going to make it. Then you got Jeremy Chin, Michael Davis. Those 2 are going to make it. Michael Dieter, probably not going to, I don't know, but we'll keep it at 5 right there. And I'm going to be talking about some of these guys as well and how they've improved the rooms that they're going into. Eckler is going to make it. Zach Ertz, that puts it, I think, to 7. I don't think Jeff Driscoll is going to make it. He could, but I think they're going to want Sam Hartman to make it. That's ideally what they do. Farrell, Fowler, I think they'll make it, so that puts it at 9. Let's just say Noah I don't know, it's going to be tough, but he's a special team stud. Let's say he makes it, that's 10. All these guys right here are going to make it, that's 13. Tyler Ott's going to make it, he's a long snapper. 14, maybe one of those other 2 make it. I'm going to say 2 of these guys make it, that's 16. And then Zacchaeus, that's 17. So 17-ish guys that are going to, from free agency that are going to make it. And then you got the rookie class. Let me bring out the rookie class. Where is it? I swear I had it somewhere here. But, I mean, we know, right here, the rookie class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's say an undrafted free agent or 2 makes it. That gets you to 28 total new faces on the team, which is maybe not 30 like I said, but it's about 58, 57% of the roster is going to be new faces, which is absolutely insane. And the defense, the defense isn't going to be elite year 1. I hope, but probably not. But they just completely overhauled that defense. I mean, you think about the defense we had at the end of last season to what we have now. It's Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, and now we have Dorrance Armstrong, we got Clone Farrell, we got Dante Fowler, and then at safety, or let's talk about linebacker. Let's talk about the linebacking core. We went from Jamin Davis, Cody Barton, Bostic, and Milo Eifler to Bobby Wagner, to Frankie Louvu. Sorry, I don't know why I was blanking. And then Jamin Davis as well. And then we got some, added some depth in there too, to top, on top of that, we added depth, like I said, Anthony Pittman, Michael Walker. One of those guys is going to make it. Maybe both of them is going to make it. We also drafted a linebacker. So a lot of depth at the linebacker position, but also some, dang good starters as well. So the linebacking core absolutely overhauled. Went from probably the worst linebacking core in the NFL to a top 3, top 5 core. If you really look at it, top to bottom, we're one of the best linebacking cores in the NFL. You brought in, Jeremy Chin, who's, on the level of Cameron Crowe, might be better, might be worse, depending on what you think, but we got him for cheap. And then, you're bringing in cornerback room is relatively the same. You add some depth, the defensive tackle, that room is absolutely outstanding. And Johnny Newton's going to be learning from John Allen, Deron Payne, so that's good for him there. And then on offense, you didn't overhaul the offense, but you definitely added some, much needed, some pieces on the offensive line. Adding Tyler Biotish, Nick Allegretti, who maybe will be a starter, maybe not. And then Brandon Coleman, you bring him in. You bring in Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz. So this is a whole new team. And Adam Peters is really just getting started. He's just getting started. This is the first year, and you expect it to be a overhaul. Maybe not as much as this. Maybe I didn't think it was going to be as much as this, but definitely expect it to be an overhaul. But they're going to continue to make moves. Next off season, they're going to see who sticks, who doesn't, what guys from the previous regime they want to keep around. I guess they're kind of already doing that. They got rid of some of the other guys from the Ron Rivera regime, like Logan Thomas and Charles Leno. And right now, some of these guys are on trial runs, like Benjamin St. Juste. He's on a trial run. Derek Forrest, guys like that are either, they got a year or two left, or they're young guys like, hey, maybe Peter sees something in them, and that's why he's keeping them. But he's going to give them the year, and after that, he could get rid of those guys. So he's going to see, or maybe not get rid of them, but, find other guys to replace them, and maybe they'll go to being backups. So it's a big year for a lot of these guys, like Forbes as well. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm trying to think. De'Ami Brown, huge year for him. Jahan Dotson, he's never going to get cut, really, unless he's terrible. Let's hope it doesn't happen, knock on wood. But he might not be viewed highly by Peters right now. And if he doesn't have a good year, then Peters is going to be looking for number 2, and might not feel like Jahan is part of that, receiving core, doesn't, really view him that highly. So that's, it's a big year for a lot of these guys. And the overhaul, this is step 1 of it, completely, getting rid of all of the loose parts, the guys you really didn't want, bring in your own guys. And then the next year and the year after that is really about finalizing it. And the goal is each year you bring in fewer and fewer people. So maybe next year they bring in, 5, 6, whatever, like 8 free agents. And then, the next year it's even less. Obviously you can't get to a point where you bring in no one because you always need to improve, but that's the goal. So next year, fill in those holes that you need. Hopefully Jaden Daniels is a stud and you're just helping out that, him with that offensive line, maybe bring in a receiver. But I'm really happy with what Adam Peters did. This was a terrible football team, a 3-win football team. I think that's what the record was. I don't even remember. I don't care. I want to forget that season. 3-win team, really not many good parts to keep around besides some players, and that's the core, like Terry, John Allen, Deron Payne, guys like that, Sam Cosmi. But besides that, and there's still some other good guys, but I think those are really the core pieces. it's up to Peters, and he decided to really just get rid of everyone and bring in a ton of new talent, and I'm happy. And let's see what these guys do. And this is the first draft class that he got to, totally control. So let's see how they do this year. I'm really excited. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.